We do want to start to the ongoing fallout over the FBI searching the home of former National Security Advisor John Bolton, the latest Trump critic targeted by the administration. Of course, he now joins the likes of people like James Comey, John Brennan, Jack Smith, Letitia James here in New York, and of course, California Senator Adam Schiff. Just this morning, Schiff, who is now being investigated over mortgage fraud allegations, raised the alarm on Trump's retribution. Watch.
I think this is clearly retribution. I mean, the idea that they just picked John Bolton, a prominent critic of the president, at random. What the president is trying to do here is very systemic and systematic, and that is anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them. So if you're John Bolton, you get your home seized. If you're on the Federal Reserve and you won't lower interest rates, you get threatened with prosecution or with firing. They're essentially going after any critic, any opposition in an effort to intimidate them. That's what this is about. It's not about Bolton per se. It's about anyone else that, like Bolton, might stand up to the president. Basically, it's free reign with a corrupt leadership of the Justice Department.
All right, joining us now, Michael Cohen, former personal attorney to Donald Trump, host of the Mea Culpa podcast and top-rated Substack host at The Real Michael Cohen. It's great to have you back on the show. It's always nice to kind of check in with you when there are these inflection points with the administration. You certainly have been on the receiving end of Trump's wrath, if you will. Does this feel like or look like to you as political retribution?
Well, it is political retribution, but I think what we have to do is just separate the verbiage of retribution and just understand, as I had said on a previous MSNBC show, that guaranteed all of the folks that you just showed on that list need to lawyer up, and each and every one of them, in my opinion, will ultimately suffer a repercussion. Everyone from Bolton all the way around the wheel to Chris Krebs, every one of them needs to lawyer up, because right now, Donald Trump is controlling the game. It's not the same playing field that we've lived with. It's not the same playbook. When Trump himself told you, I will be your retribution, well, what did you think he meant by it? That if you do wrong by me, that I'm going to reward you, that I'm going to give you a Trump is always right MAGA hat, that you're going to get invited to Mar-a-Lago? Absolutely not. He's going to use every single advantage that he has, and he's got a presidential toolbox of it, in order to make each and every one of them feel the pain that he feels was done wrongly to him.
When you say they're going to end up feeling an impact here, is that the headache of constant legal troubles and woes? Or do you think a real indictment is coming here for Bolton? We're going to see more homes raided in the coming days. Where do you think this ends?
So my prediction is James Comey is probably next, and I believe each and every one of them, again, take the entire flywheel there, each and every one of them will be indicted.
Why Comey next?
Just my gut. You know, again, I was so involved and so entrenched with Trump for a decade and a half, I sort of understand him. Comey is an irritant to him. And so I do believe that, again, my prediction.
But a judge has to sign off on these search warrants.
Yeah.
So there has to be some calls, right?
Sure. And when you start talking about, for example, mortgage fraud, as he's now alleged against Adam Schiff or Tish James, rest assured that the judge who signed off on the subpoena, on the federal warrant, did not do it blindly, even though I'm certain he read into it the way this administration wanted him to read into it. Every judge that these cases are going to go before will ultimately capitulate to those that are in power right now.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can we just step back a minute and talk about the original appointment of John Bolton as President Trump's national security advisor? Because in the initial days of the administration, Bolton's name was bandied about for Secretary of State, which he always wanted, but that got clamped down. And then he manages to emerge eventually as National Security Advisor, even though his views are very opposed to Donald Trump's less hawkish foreign policy. Was it just the initial attraction of television and of Donald Trump wanting someone to bow down to him, even though he knew that Bolton was not going to execute that foreign policy, or did he even understand that?
I think in the first go-around, Trump was not guided by himself. You know, I hate to quote him, but Corey Lewandowski used to constantly repeat a line: let Trump be Trump. That's what we're seeing now in the second administration. The first one, you had folks like Reince Priebus, and then you had others in the room that we'll call more politically mature. Well, you don't have that now. So what you have right now is Donald Trump's whims, Donald Trump's desires, and a massive team of individuals as well as government working in order to appease those whims. And they are succeeding. That's the thing. You know, when you start looking, for example, the gerrymandering, they're like, oh, well, you know, look at Gavin Newsom. He's, you know, trolling Donald Trump. So what? Right? So what? Is that actually what's going to make Democrats win? No. We need to go into the purple areas. We need to go into the ruby red districts and say, hey, we know that we didn't do right by you. And you explained to us, which is why 2025 went the way it did. Instead, here's what we're trying to tell you. Tariffs or taxes. Where's Ken Martin and messaging other than sending you a text every day asking for money? That's not going to work anymore. You're not going to win 2026 on the notion that Donald Trump bad, we should win. It doesn't work that way. So we need to get into these districts. We need to sit down and say, when you look at your bill at your big box store, is it not looking more like a mortgage now than what it did 6 months ago or a year ago? And the answer, of course, is yes, because here's the three-word slogans: tariffs or taxes, right? And consumers pay tariffs. Let them understand that your member of Congress abandoned you in order to just, again,
to be fair, there are some people doing some of what I mean, Bernie Sanders has been hosting these rallies, AOC with him, Greg Casar with him. There are people who have been advocating that the party needs to do exactly what you just described there.
And so where did they go? They go into 2, 3, 4. We're talking about send folks all around the country, people who have names and influence, whether use Midas Touch Network, use Lincoln, use Seneca Project, use Michael Cohen. Send people who have some name recognition out there in order to shake somebody's hand. Let them know that we're thinking about them. We care about them. But we don't do that. You know what we do? We send them an email. Hey, send me $3, send me $5. Donald Trump and his GOP MAGAs, they're taking us apart every single day, or they're destroying our democracy. Nobody's giving money at this point.
All right, let me just ask you really quickly about something you said in the beginning, which is the sentiment that these people are irritants for Donald Trump, and that's why he wants to go after them in this kind of retribution tour. In what way are these people who don't have power now an irritant for Donald Trump? What is James Comey doing now that makes him a target for Donald Trump?
Well, it's not about now. It's about what he did before, including the same with Adam Schiff as the impeachment,
January 6th,
right, and January 6th. And then you start talking about Miles Taylor with the release of information. You know, I remember when I was in Otisville, I read this book called 5 Felonies a Day by, I think it was by Harvey Westglade and Sidney Powell. I think they co-wrote it. Everybody commits a felony a day, all right? And if there's one thing that Trump's people are going to be good at, and when I mean good, I mean really good at, is finding it. If it's a mortgage fraud allegation, if it's going to be containing a classified document, whatever it is, the amount of pain that Trump is going to inflict on that wheel of names and the faces that you showed there, mark my words, you'll have me back for each and every one. It's just going to be like a weekly occurrence.
Are you in the crosshairs at all still?
Well, I know I'm certainly on the list. I think, thank goodness to all of these folks, I've been pushed down a little bit, lower, and so I obviously just have to wait and see.
So he'll get to you in year 3 or something.
Yeah, let's hope that the time limit runs out.